Part 3, Industrial Military Complex. Now for those of you who have been following me from quite some time, I have to keep on repeating. Politicians are like computers. You've got to keep on punching the information in. So, Mill Street and 105 Rothschild Avenue tells you two key locations. The Rothschild gives you the distance to the South Pole. 3875, Comforter. That's your answer. Mill Street gives you the 31680 around the Earth. So, these are proven by the pyramid, the altar to the Lord. And the layout of Australia, my life as Jesus, June the 17th, 2 BC, to the cross, April the 3rd, 33 AD. Now naturally, 99.9% of people are not going to believe it. There's a hairy-fairy Jesus that's been created by the churches under the tutelage of the Jews. The one that you often see, the photograph of, he was a homosexual. Does it tell you anything? So from April 3rd, 33 AD to a period of 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 days, that is until the cross, times pi, 3.14159, is 38776.6. So here I am, dying on the cross, times pi, gives you the distance from the South Pole to the actual maternity ward. 3877 is God. So 3877.66 is the distance from the South Pole to the actual maternity ward. So the word God is found in 3877 verses 4443 times. The radius of Jupiter is 44430 miles. Right? South Pole to my rebirth, St. Margaret's. The patron saint of Scotland, and my ancestor was St. Margaret's. So the 3877.66 miles, and the word God is found in 3877 verses of the original King James. That's prior to the authorized. My particular copy was given to me by an angel. So it's correct. So, it's also based on the St. Jerome translation. So the short value of pi is 3.141, and that is witness in the Greek concordance, a witness of future events. If you look at the Milky Way galaxy, it's 100,000 light years across. Therefore, 1 times pi is pi, 100,000 times pi is pi. Just add zeros to it. 105 Rothschild identifies the Rothschild as being the beast, is confirmed by 2 solar eclipses, one along the 25-degree north latitude, January 25th, 1944, it measuring 8888.8 miles to 105 Rothschild Avenue. The other along the 25-degree south latitude, November the 14th, 2012, it is 942 miles to the rebirth location. So we have Jesus, 942 verses, contains the name Jesus 973 times. We live at 103 North Shore Avenue, Toogoong, Queensland, which measures 973 kilometres from my rebirth location at 105 Rothschild Avenue, Rosebery. See, if you weren't a politician, and a lot of you people aren't, of course, you'll get it. If you're a politician, you won't get it, because you're stupid. So here it is. Now, why 25-degree latitude? The width of the altar to the Lord in its fullness, at 9131.06 pyramid inches wide, is 25 reeds. So 105 Rothschild Avenue is confirmed by 2 solar eclipses, one along the 25 north latitude, January the 25th, 1944, measuring 8888.8 to 105 Rothschild Avenue, the beast. The other along the 25 degree south, November the 14th, that's Prince Charles, His birthday in 1948. It 942 miles to the rebirth location. Jesus 942 verses containing Jesus 973 times. We live at 103 North Shore Avenue, Toogoom, Queensland, which measures 973 kilometres from my rebirth location at 105 Rothschild Avenue, Raspberry. The Jews know they cannot live in paradise and must destroy all life on the earth. That is why they are doing it. Of course, they cannot rule, they know that. So the psychopaths at top will kill everybody to stop me having paradise on the earth and you people as well. They say they want a lifeless planet drifting in the ether of space. A quote from Adolf Hitler. So the Holy City is laid out on 12,000, and it's not furlongs, it's in Greek. So it's changed by the Jew translators. However, the New Testament is Greek. A furlong is in fact a Greek stadia. Each stadia is 606.9 British feet. So that gives you 1379.3181 miles times 4, so square. The southeastern border to the north is measured from 4th of 150 Nell Street. It is a city block with 8 sides, so pyramid, and the same as the pyramid as it has 8 sides. The distance around the block is 888 metres. I measured it with a Magellan GPS handheld. The north to west line of the Holy City is the same, 1379.3181 mile distance from the top of Queensland across to the top of Western Australia. The base of the full size altar to the Lord, the Great Pyramid, is 9131.06 pyramid inches, or 9140.7389236 inches, or in feet, 761.72824. Now, listen to what I'm telling you. If you're measuring the full side of the completed pyramid, 761.72824 feet, we now say, well, how about we call it miles? And what do we get when we call it miles? Well, there's a pyramid shape from Toogoom straight across to the line that's running up from 4 straight 150 Nell Street off the 31680 line, and that hits the side of a pyramid shape 761.72824 kilometres, the same number as the Great Pyramid in feet. Hello. Politicians won't get it. That's what it looks like. So that blue line on the bottom there is the same number in kilometres as the pyramid is in feet. Same number. The liars, homosexuals, Jews, drug dealers, thieves, doctors, pornographers, murderers and all that make a lie politicians are outside the Holy City. And they're all terrified, I can assure you. Isaiah 2:19, and they shall go into the holes of the rocks and into the caves of the earth for fear of the Lord and for the glory of his majesty when he arises to shake terribly. That's 6206 the earth. Isaiah 8:13, sanctify the Lord of hosts himself and let him be your fear and let him be your dread. Revelation 22:15, for without are dogs and sorcerers and whoremongers and politicians and murderers and idolaters, whoever loveth and maketh a lie. 22:16, I have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things of the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David, and a bright and morning star. Now what they're trying to do, the Freemasons, is make the morning star Lucifer. So the angels are also stars, the planets are also stars, and also angels. So they have a message. So we read them as follows. This is sunrise to moonrise was 888 minutes on my birth, January 11th, 1944 in Sydney. In Sydney only. Right? Nowhere else, Sydney. So when you measure from Jupiter, which is a radius of 44430, so there's your God number, 4443. It's also 88,860 miles wide, so 888 is Jesus. We end up with Mercury, Mars and Saturn combined give you 16.94 astronomical units. That is Emmanuel. But the total is Lord Jesus Christ, 3168. Right? total is 3168. You're adding up Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Saturn. So let's look at that a little more closely. January the 11th, 1944, 3168, Lord Jesus Christ, the key of the house of David. Now, if you take the word David, D-A-V-I-D, English gematria, it's a 4, a 1, 22, a 9, and a D. So if you multiply the D times the A times the V times the I times the D, it gives you 3168. Now, 1694 is Emmanuel, God with us. We have my half-brother, 8.88 years older than I, my daughter born when I was 8880 days old, and on and on. The key of the house of David. I am the key of the house. I weigh 222 pounds in a bag of chips, 222.2. A key only I can open or shut, a genetic key that proves all creation was via Jesus, and I as the reincarnated am God in the flesh, the Holy Ghost, who conceived in the baby within Mary, the Virgin. Like God can create the universe and he can't get a woman pregnant. Hello, I've done several this lifetime around. And the key of the house of David will lay upon his shoulder, he shall open, and none shall shut. That's what I'm doing. I'm opening for you. It doesn't matter if you don't believe it. If you're a politician, well, you're not going to. If you're a Jew, you will believe it, because it's going to mean your demise. And they're going to try and stop me every chance they get. They've tried cyanide, they've tried bullets, they've tried poison on my back. They've tried to give me heart attacks. So the Greek number and the concordance of 222 is Zoe, from 2198, life. Lifetime, compare 5590. Right? Breath of life. Spirit. Abstractly or concretely, the animal sentient principle only, thus distinguished on the one hand from the 4151, which is the rational and immortal soul. Your soul's immortal, right? Get that word, immortal soul. Fear him that can kill both body and soul in hell. You're in it. And that's what I'm going to do to the Jews. They're finished. And on the others, from 222, which is mere vitality, even of plants, these terms thus exactly correspond respectively to the Hebrew 5315, 7307, and 2416, heart, life, mind, soul. Us, you. The importance of the house on the next page I built in Canada, and it is 444.3 kilometres from the house where my eldest daughter was conceived in Port Alberni, BC, Canada. Roger Street. At the end of Roger Street is 3168 Roger Port, Alberni. Lord Jesus Christ. Jupiter radius 44430 miles equates to 4443. And is the word of God found in 3877 verses. And where I was reborn, St. Margaret's in Darlinghurst, is 3877.66 miles to the South Pole. We've been through that before. And the house I was raised in until 942 days old, Jesus' first total, and in the 973 times, is the distance from Rothschild Avenue to the home wherein I was speaking to you today. Okay. The day Tracy was conceived, the 29th of July, 1967. I was there. I wasn't happy about it. However, I was married to a harlot. Right? However, it had to be done. Jupiter was over Port Alberni for 888 minutes, and on her birth, May the 4th, 1968, the sunrise to sunset was 888 minutes. Now, this is the house that I built in Cornell. Now, the house next door is what the Jews bought and destroyed, but I built this one beforehand, and they didn't know. Now, I built into that house many things that I can identify from here. That all you got to do is look it up. So, I also buried something in the backyard. See what I'm saying? The Jews thought the house had to be destroyed. They purchased it and levelled it off. However, I built several features into the house they could not have discovered or realised I built both houses. In Port Alberni, where my eldest daughter was conceived, the distance is 444.3. God total in 3877 verses. However, the distance to 3168 Roger from the Cornell house is 4443. You see, ladies and gentlemen, The Jews' God is Lucifer. It tries very hard to fool you, i.e. Jesus did not exist. Well, it makes no difference to me, whether you believe it or not. It makes no difference. It's going to happen. I'm God. So there's 36,000 different denominations, all done by Lucifer. 99.9% Freemason, their God is Lucifer. Google it. They have a Freemason Bible, a light of masonry, Lucifer. It matters not to me if any of you have the intelligence to comprehend what I, as God, is saying in the flesh. I'm talking to the children. The question you should ask, okay, is it just a coincidence? Come on. Why have they not killed him? Should be the question on your lips. But how come I am not dead, is the answer. They can forbid Christ, owning 99% of the politicians, but not kill me. Why do you think I will win? Everyone dies off. I get the children. So there's 3168 Roger. It's on Google Earth. You can Google it. And the key of the house of David will lay upon his shoulder, so he shall open and shall shut. You can see what I'm doing. You can see it. My Canadian driver's license, I weigh 222 pounds. Here's the 31680 kilometres around the earth through this house. Now, that house was sold under my, without me knowing it, that's what I'm trying to say. And Michelle took off with all the money. Now, on top of the house, there is a pyramid I built, glass pyramid. One on the left, there was another extension to the house which they've demolished. It had a glass pyramid on it as well. So it's 5813 kilometres to the South Pole, and the pyramid is in its completed state. That high, 5813 pyramid inches. Now, I'm rejected. Naturally. Why? It's too complex. The churches have got runaway fools that are convinced them that Lucifer and their God, the Freemason God, and the Jewish God, is the Jesus they have invented. That is not me. You're not coming back. You're raising up with medium in the stars on a great white horsey. It's ridiculous. So there it is the pyramid height and the distance to Mill Street, and the line, the yellow line, 31680 around the earth. Here we go, Matthew 1:23. Behold, a virgin shall be with child, and this verse has the Emmanuel word in it, being interpreted God with us, Gematria 8880. So Emmanuel in Greek is 1694. Okay, you got it? In Hebrew it's 6005, which is, with us is God. So the Nell Street home is 169.4 nautical miles from the summit of Mount Kosciuszko. It is 2228 metres high. I married Lucifer's choice on April the 23rd, 1966. Hebrew 1966 is Lucifer. I was 1162.6 weeks or 22.28 years. Now, my brother now dead, child molester. The world's a better place without him, I'm going to show you. There's nothing I could do to convince that arsehole that all the miracles he's seen, all he had to do was confess it in front of the family, but he wouldn't do that. Hundreds of miracles in a lifetime. He wouldn't do it. He set himself a very low moral standard as a boy, and growing older had great difficulty living up to him. However, he is older than I by 8.88 years. So, the January 11th, 1944 to sunrise to moonrise was also 888 minutes. My daughter, born in Port Alberni, as I said, sunrise to sunset, 888 minutes. I was 8880 days old. So am I getting a bit monotonous? She was conceived 280 days earlier. Jupiter was overhead for 888 minutes. It's the number of God wide. The house she conceived in, I built. It is 444.3 kilometres from the second house I built where my second daughter, Nicole, was conceived in Cornell, Canada. The number 4443, the word God found in 3877 verses. I lived it as Jesus 12343 days times pi is 3877 6.6, and move the decimal point over and you got the exact distance from the South Pole to the maternity ward I was born in. Now, if you take the latitude of Bethlehem and put it in the southern hemisphere, that Bethlehem number is 31.68 north, so we're putting 31.68 south. So to my rebirth home is 248.8. 2488 times pi is 3.14159 equals 7920, the width of the Earth, or the total distance from the Sun to the planets, 9954 million miles, divided by pi is 3168. Do you think I'm going to go away? Do you think these Jews are going to win? Come on. The Great Pyramid has 8 sides, and each side is slightly concaved, and Nell Street is also on an 8-sided block. There it is right there. That's your holy city. The word city is found 777 verses of the King James Bible, and the last one is holy city. Now, if you go down to the distance across, 537.2 kilometres, by going straight down from Sydney, where I was born, house I was raised in rather, to the South Pole, it crosses the 31680 kilometres around the Earth, and it gives you 537 kilometres to the house, and that is a distance, same number, 537 pyramid inches from the far wall of the King's Chamber to the Great Step. And that's how many times the word Christ is found. This is the pyramid itself. I did it on a CAD program, and the distance from the apex is 3875 pyramid inches. Hello. Brother now dead Ronald, born on February 25th, 1935, the planets also predicting the Comforter, 3875, would come. He was also, as I said, 8.88 years older than I, and January 11th, 1944. The sunrise to moonrise was 888 minutes. Jesus in Greek gematria, but we got 25th of February 1935 when he was born, and we add all the distances up, and it totals 3875 in astronomical units. Okay, so here's a number I did when the distance between Saturn and Jupiter was 888 astronomical units, 8.88, and the 25th of January 1977. As Jesus, I was conceived on September the 11th, 3 BC. My mother, she was 14 years old, conceived of the Holy Ghost. She was born on that date, 17 BC. So September 11th is 9/11. That's why they did the towers in 9/11. So she gave birth to me on the 17th of June 2 BC. In 1946, on June the 17th, I was 8 days old. I lived 12343 days times pi, 3877 gives you the God number again. Pope Benedict was arrested by Francis on April 3rd, same number as the crucifixion, in 2013. His staff was taken away and murdered. He had been a repentant pope. He was a very naive man. Although he was a leading scholar in Europe on the Bible, he really had little idea what was going on. He did not even know that the Jews had taken over the church. So I was raised from the dead on April the 5th, leaving my soul, a white-haired man of 69 years, image burned in the shroud of Turin. Researchers think it is a negative. No, it is a positive image of my... Because it's white-haired, right? They think it's a negative. Well, I got white hair today. So you wear your soul over your body. That's the whole idea of these 7 times you have to live your life. And if you don't get it right, then you're out of here. So the Jews, they've run out of time. They've had 7 lifetimes too. And what do they do in those 7 lifetimes? The good people only have to live once or twice. But the Jews, they're going to go 7 times around. So therefore the world is made worse and worse and worse by the Jews being in power. All the good people are gone. So all the good people that come back to life on this planet today is my wife-to-be. So the female soul is on the outside. So their soul is to marry my soul, the only male. No one else is male. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost. So when I come back, it's like treading grapes in a wine press, sprinkling the evil blood on my immortal wedding gum. Isaiah 63. So as the Lord was laid out, as the altar to the Lord was laid out on four corner sockets, each sunk into the ground, bedrock, fine chisel lines reveal the base line of 36524.24. Then they built it 286.1 smaller. Gives you 36238.14. 286 is lamb, the 1 is alpha, so it's a lamb of God. God is so accurate when it is laid out. It's all done by Jesus. Everything is created through Jesus. So the 2861 is espousal male, the bridegroom, and the 3623 is espousal bride. The 814 Hebrew is present. Psalm 72:10, the isles will bring presents. Isaiah 8:14, he will be a sanctuary, a stone of stumbling, a rock of offence for both houses of Israel, a gin, a trap, a snare to the inhabitants of Jerusalem. So the base is smaller than planned, therefore when the slanting sides reach full height, the pyramid is not high enough. An indication man has created their own false religions and have no idea that life is all about rejecting through the countless Lucifer churches. God, when he comes, is rejected. The Jews took over England when Charles I was beheaded, January 30, 1649. Cook was sent to verify Captain Wallace's longitude when he discovered Tahiti, King George III. Both had Harrison longitude clocks, which is one of my relatives, John Harrison, through my grandmother. Cook had orders to study the transition of Venus, June 3, 1769, and sail south to search for an alternative to Australia. He discovered Antarctica. You won't find that in the books either, they've changed that. However, the Jews have hidden these records, no matter as the two ships, Wallace SS Dolphin and SS Endeavour, the former coal ship owned by the Marshall family, the Earls of Pembroke. They sighted the highest mountain, 7353 feet, and that's the full size of the Shroud of Turin, with a little bit stitched on the side. 171 by 43.5, that's how it is today. 7353 has a small head binding cloth, 88.8 millimetres, or 3.5 inches, by 171 was stitched meticulously to the 171 by 39.5. That's the 6745 square inches. 6754 square inches. It was incidentally the tablecloth of the Last Supper. It has flowers and pollen on it. It took me 20 years to wake the scientists in. It was 2 pieces of cloth. Basically they're idiots. This little pyramid was discovered by Cook. It has got a base of 23229 square feet, 267 by 87 feet, with 11 layers high. It's called a moray. Now, he had arrived 666 days after Wallace. He had a bit of time on his hands and he found this. It's the wind controlled by the angels that gets you here at a certain time when he had to be there a certain date. So he discovered this. That number, 23229, is the days between my grandfather Golightly and myself. Okay, so that's 63.6 years. He was born on June 5th, 1880. That little pyramid, you see, it is 4990 miles to the South Pole, and this Greek is Saviour. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Saviour, 4990, which is Christ the Lord. 63, who is that coming from Edom with dyed garments from Bosra? It's not dyed garments, it's been washed red by crushing, wearing a Holy Ghost on the outside, my soul, pure white, that is stained red by crushing the grapes of the people. Their souls are sour grapes, and it splashes all over as I crush them to death. It splashes all over my garments. Then we go to Shakespeare. Wherefore art thou ready thine apparel? And thy garments like him that treadeth the wineful. When Julius Caesar, rather when William Shakespeare was writing Romeo and Juliet, he refers to two men arguing, and they swear. One says Jesu Maria. That's the Essene name for Jesus. I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there were none with me. I trod them in my anger, and trampled them in my fury. The blood shall be sprinkled upon my garments, and I will stain all my raiment. For the day of vengeance is in my heart, and the year of my redeemed is come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore mine own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. And I will tread down the people in my anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring them down, their strength down to the earth. So that's the location of the pyramid, and the distance 4990 miles, which is Sabia. So, just a reminder, 537 is Christ, and we go to the wall, and that's the number which you'll see 58.13 two times where the coffer is located. And that's how we get to it. So let us then look at the 3168 baseline in the Holy City, where I lived for 13.13 years on Mill Street, Greensboro in Victoria, Australia, with another complete and utter stupid, immoral woman. She had been caught committing adultery by her husband, and he kicked her out. So that was the home of Michelle Neal Sheila Nye, inherited from her mother, who lived at 666 Main Road, Bolton. There's a bit of a message there. And indeed, both were evil. However, Michelle was Mary Magdalene. She had 7 devils driven out. Now the idea, when you have 7 devils driven out, that's a death. Right? So when you reincarnate, the same devils are waiting to come back in. And they bring 7 times 7 with them. This is when the soul is garnished and swept clean. So when she arrived back on the earth, what happens? She got 7 times 7 plus the original 7 demons. I returned to Australia on the 8th of October 1996. In Hebrew means multitude of God, and in Greek to collect upon the same place. I went to 7 Trevone Street, Padstow in Sydney, then to Melbourne, invited by my brother. That's my 7 Trevone with my mother. He wanted to chase women. He arranged to frequent a dance club called Rembrandt's. As I walked in, on the wall was a picture of a man in a golden helmet, which I had painted in 1977 with my own face on. There it is there. He had blinded their eyes and hardened their heart. They should not see with their eyes nor understand with their heart, to be converted, and I should heal them. I don't want to heal you if you ain't in. So I painted that in Cornell. There's 63 colours in the glass on the side. As said, Michelle was full with demons. Her daughter Rhiannon both died with the same brush. However, they were a key. So I had to shrug off the urge to have nothing to do with either of them. And now Michelle was born in Dundas Street, Preston. That's 3134 nautical miles from the South Pole, and the house on Mel Street, 313.4 kilometres or 169.4 nautical miles from Mount Kosciuszko. So you got 3134, that's Maranatha. So you can read that for yourself. I'll get a bit tongue-tied here. So we go back to measuring from Jupiter to all the planets and my rebirth dates. That gives you 3875 the comforter, 38.75. And on June the 7th and 2 BC until the cross until April 3rd, 33 AD, period of 12343 days, multiplied by pi gives you 3877.6, which is the distance from the South Pole. 3877.66 to the maternity ward of St. Margaret's. So that the next January 11th, 1944, Jupiter to Saturn, Mars, Earth, Venus, Mercury and the Sun was 31.68 astronomical units. So therefore the Holy City is where the King is. So that is why I was born on key locations, to identify myself. And then find another woman of low morals, filled with demons, and that was 4/150 North Street, Greensboro. Again, it is the Earth's circumference, 31680. On and on it goes. Now, another clue is Michelle's age. December the 20th, 1979. When her daughter was born in Geelong, sunrise to sunset was 888. That's 32.75, which is a melting point of lead, incidentally. 327.5 Celsius. I suppose you, Mr. Morrison, were wondering if I would mention that. We have therefore one corner of the Holy City now, as the New Testament in Greek. The 12,000 furlongs is another Jewish man's mistranslation. In Greek it is stadia, and that gives you all the different distances. However, the 1379.3181 that bursts out of these numbers, both of them, one Hebrew and the other one in Greek, gives you border. So the border of the Holy City. So I put it on, by putting it back of the ear so you can hear, right? That's it, that's the whole idea of it. Now, Christ, as I said before, 537 verses. There's that number again. So I've been trying to wake people up for a very long period of time. Very few people wake up. When we go into the pyramid water out there in October the 11th, 2013, these tickets are number 1161, 1162, 1163. The antechamber is 116.26. My mother's 101st birthday. So, June the 17th, 2 BC, and here I have June the 17th, 2014. It is 1161 days. In fact, each moment we went into the tickets have an equally miraculous connection. So it wasn't just those tickets. We went to several Egyptian monuments to look, and each one had the same brilliant connections. So it's pretty obvious. There it is again. Now, the distance to the sun when I was born in millions of kilometres was 1471. And that number is great with child. Now, Eileen, her house and her mother's house was Newbeck Street in Linsdale, which is northwest of Sydney. And the latitude is 3323, which is Messiah's. That's what they look like. If you go the 3 legs, the distance around is 1471. We're back to the distance to the sun on January the 11th. I've told all these things to my previous wives and children, and they all think I'm nuts. Yeah, they think I'm a genius. But I'm obsessed with finding out the truth about creation. I think I should be making money. I'm not here to make money. So we have determined then that the right-hand side of the base sits on the North Street, and that is 31680, 5813 South Pole, and then we've got the numbers 1379, which is border, and 3181, which is border in Greek. So, I have to repeat myself in these things. I don't want to, but it's too complex. Okay, birth date January 11th, 1944. Mercury, Mars, Venus. Well, Mars has got a war. Saturn, of course. The Jews are trying to steal that. Satan. And then Mercury. On the 11th of July 2011, the distance from Pluto to Saturn is 31.68. Now the point is, how do I know these things and how do I do it? There's thousands of dates I can choose from, but no, I know where to go. But here's a fellow here, look him up, Dan Wigington, and he talks about all of the things that's going on in Australia. There's your address right there. We've got this arsehole here. If you control the food, you control a nation. If you control the energy, you control a region. If you control the money, you control the world. Kissinger. Should have been hung 40 years ago. Now, when you put tap water, you're streaming out of your tap, and then you put a frequency against it, it does all sorts of strange things, as you can see in the second, third, fourth and fifth drawing. There's a repeat of the 3168 number and all the other things it means. Goes on and on. And you've got these beautiful work here with all the numbers in various ancient measurements. Same again. Same again. It's endless. This is February the 18th, 1930. We have Pluto to Jupiter to November the 14th. So February the 18th to November the 14th. 31680 kilometres.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society, and we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice, on guerrillas by night instead of armies by day. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no rumor is printed, no secret is revealed. No president should fear public scrutiny of his program, for from that scrutiny comes understanding, and from that understanding comes support or opposition, and both are necessary. I am not asking your newspapers to support an administration, but I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people.
Now, I want your politicians to show this to your party. No one should escape what's going to happen to them. As well as the opposition. You've got to sack all the Jews, as I said, clean up the High Court, Jews and lesbians have to be gone, oust all homosexuals and child molesters, and anyone who does not believe in me being Christ, the Lord God. You are in the death throes of World War III. Put Tony Abbott as Deputy Prime Minister, and all elections in the future will be appointments. Bring Clive Palmer into the picture. He's a very good man. Contact Donald Trump, give him a copy. Send a delegation to Pope Benedict the 16th, and if Francis stops you after telling him I sent you, he knows me very well. He threatened us that if we were to come to Rome we would be arrested. We went and we sat under. Now, I built a house on Rex and Regina in Port Alberni, so forming a pyramid on these locations gives us a number 111718, which is Greek espouse, 2 Corinthians 11:2, and is godless in Greek. 6 is destroy utterly, have no way to flee, Matthew 23:35. And when you measure to the houses I've built in Cornell, it gives you 888.8. Now I'm going to continue in a moment with Benjamin Freeman, and that's what I said. The house I built there, I was ripped off by a Jew, 5,000. That was enough to buy 2 Firebird cars at the time. And but as I said, I'm here to trap, not to make money. So, I'll start with Benjamin Freeman.
An explanation of the plans now being laid to throw the United States into a third world war. It was made a short time ago before a large group in the congressional room of the Willard Hotel in Washington, D.C. Both the speech and the question and answer period later so electrified the audience that a group of patriots has transferred it to two long-playing records which you may buy to play for friends, clubs, and your church groups in your community. The speaker is Mr. Benjamin Friedman, noted authority on Zionism and all of its schemes. Mr. Friedman is a former Jew, and I mean a former Jew. He has fought the communist world conspiracy tooth and nail. Today as a leading American patriot. We now take you to the speaker's platform to present Benjamin Friedman.
What I intend to tell you tonight is something that you have never been able to learn from any other source. And what I tell you now concerns not only you, but your children and the survival of this country and Christianity. Here just to dish up a few facts to send up your blood pressure, but I'm here to tell you things that will help you preserve what you consider the most sacred thing in the world, the liberty and the freedom and the right to live as Christians, where you have a little dignity and a little right to pursue the things that your conscience tells you are the right things. Now, first of all, I'd like to tell you that on August 25th, 1960, that was shortly before election, Senator Kennedy, who is now the President of the United States, went to New York and delivered an address to the Zionist Organization of America. In that address, to reduce it to its briefest form, he stated that he would use the armed forces of the United States to preserve the existence of the regime set up in Palestine by the Zionists, who are now in occupation of that area. In other words, Christian boys are going to be yanked out of their homes, away from their families, and sent abroad to fight in Palestine against the Christian and Muslim Arabs who merely want to return to their homes. And these Christian boys are going to be asked to kill these innocent people who only want to follow out 15 resolutions passed by United Nations in the last 12 years, calling upon the Zionists to allow these people to return to their home. Now, when the United States troops appear in the Middle East, to fight with the Zionists as their allies to prevent the return of these people who were evicted from their homes in the 1948 armed insurrection. The Zionists who were transplanted there from Eastern Europe. When that happened, the United States will trigger world You say, when will that take place? The answer is, as soon as the difficulties between France and Algeria have been settled, that will as soon as France and Algeria have settled their difficulties and the Arab world or the Muslim world has no more war on their hands with France, they are going to move these people back into their homes. And when they do that, and President Kennedy sends U.S. Army to fight over there to help the crooks hold on to what they stole from innocent men, women, and children, we will trigger World War III. And when that starts, you can be sure we cannot emerge from that war a victor. Going to lose that war because there is not one nation in the world that will let one of their sons fight with us for such a cause. I know who speaks to these ambassadors in Washington and at the United Nations, and of the 99 nations there, I've consulted with maybe 70 of them, and when we go to war in Palestine to help the Jews retain possession of what they have stolen from these innocent people, we're not going to have a man there to fight with us as our allies. And who will these people have supporting them, you ask? Well, 4 days after President Kennedy, or he was then Senator Kennedy, made that statement, on August 28, 1960, the Arab nations called a meeting in Lebanon, and there they decided to resurrect or reactivate the government of not alone that, they ordered the creation of a Palestinian army, and there are now drilling maybe 500,000 soldiers in that area of the world to lead these people back to their homes. With them, they have as their allies all the nations of what is termed the Soviet Union and every Soviet Union satellite. It includes Red China. It includes every independent country in Asia and Africa. Or 80% of the world's total population. 80% of the world's population fall out of five. Beings on the face of the earth will be our enemies at war with us. How long are they 4 out of 5 human beings now on the face of this earth? That they are the non-Christian population of the world, and they are the non the non-white nations of the world, and that's what we say. And what is the reason? The reason is that here in the United States, the Zionists and their co-religionists have complete control of our government. For many reasons, too many and too complex to go in here at this time. I'll be glad to answer questions, however, to support that statement. The Zionists and their co-religionists rule this United States as though they were the absolute monarchs of this country. Now you say, well, that's a very broad statement to make, but let me show what happened while you were... I don't want to wear that out. Let me show you what happened while we were all asleep. I'm including myself with you. We were all asleep. What happened? World War I broke out in the summer of 1914. was the year in which World War I broke out. There are a few people here my age who remember that. Now that war was waged on one side by Great Britain, France, and Russia, and on the other side by Germany, Austria-Hungary, and Turkey. What happened? Within 2 years, Germany had won that war. Not alone won it nominally, but won it actually. The German submarines, which were a surprise to the world, had swept all the convoys from the Atlantic Ocean, and Great Britain stood there without ammunition for her soldiers, stood there with 1 week
So that was Benjamin Friedman. And he's warning America, and what he was really doing is warning the world, because the Jews are so evil, these Khazars. It's a phallic cult. That's why they took over Hollywood. And there's all different types of Jews as there are different types of Christians. Well, Friedman was one of the good ones. So I'm going to leave it there, and I'll continue on the next slide with the Kennedy speech. I think it's very important that you listen very carefully to it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweighed the dangers which are cited to justify it. Even today, there is little value in opposing the threat of a closed society by imitating its arbitrary restrictions. Even today, there is little value in ensuring the survival of our nation if our traditions do not survive with it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. That I do not intend to permit to the extent that it's in my control. And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes.
As far as I'm concerned, the message I gave to Donald Trump in 2012, he was reading on his birthday, as a matter of fact, and he has done exactly what I wanted him to do. And so, in the ways of J. Edgar Hoover, he would get the goods on people and then keep track of who was who in the zoo, and if necessary, would pull them into line by threat. And that is basically what you have to do in government. That is probably why the Australian Parliament is so inept, and have been for a very, very long period of time, because they're being blackmailed. So we're just going to have to see what happens with the Australians, because I have very little faith in them. I have a great deal of faith in Donald Trump. Now here is the Australia, Great Australian Bight. I flew over it in a little plane. I bought for £800, which is, of course, Lord. And it races up about 200 feet or more straight out to sea, because when Mars bumped into the Earth in the North Pole, it pushed up the Himalayas and all the mountains and all across America, and you see the very, very high Rockies and so forth. But when you get down into Australia, it's almost dead flat, and you just see where it's been pushed up a little bit here. This is the plane I had, little yellow hornet moth. As I said, I paid £800 for it. It was a dreadful thing to fly. When you're landing it, the wheels were too far forward, and they were telescopic, and it would bounce. So the brakes were a bit iffy. Coming in the stall at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So you had to hit the brakes so that the nose would go down, the tail would come up and give you some control. But it was basically a nightmare. The fuel tank was under the seat. So the flight across Australia was a series of miracles. It's quite extraordinary to happen. Actually, I told the Pope about it, because the Pope, he wasn't really interested in the numbers that I was talking about. I thought, well, I'll just have to entertain him. And he got a lot of kick out of the funny stories I could tell. So here we have basically the nitinol motors that I have demonstrated, and that works off the sea. A ship, for example, could be at sea and the side of the ship painted black will pick up enough heat to drive the nitinol and then use the sea to cool it. And it could also be used anywhere across Australia with the hot water come up, and then you bury the cooling pipes under the landmass about a metre down, and that's quite cool. So nitinol is made of two elements. Titanium is number 22 element, and nickel is 28. So we see the 2228 number again, and that is why you can have that and take it to the bank, because these numbers, as you see, just keep on repeating, and that's what nitinol is all about. It's very easy. A 1 inch square bar of nitinol, you can bend it when it's cold, and then if you heat it to about 90 degrees Celsius, it'll straighten out with a force of 55 tons. So you can build some very, very powerful engines with that. So I took the cure to New Guinea with my wife, and they are virtually free. And you can see all the numbers there, but New Guinea got its independence when I was 31.68 years old. So you can put it all together again. So here's some numbers that you take at the very top of Australia, 8674 kilometres from the South Pole. And then you've got the 286.1, so that goes down, gives you 5813 down to Nell Street. And then you measure down 3050, which is the difference between the 8674 and the 5624. One is Hebrew concordance total, the other one is Greek concordance total. That gives you 3050, and that comes across, goes up 2861 to the 5624 number. The 3050 is Yah in Hebrew. But anyhow, you can study all that at your own leisure. I'm getting very bored with doing it. Here's some more numbers. 8674 subtract the 3050 gives you the 5624, which is 8.674 if you want to reduce it down to years, which is 3168 days. 5624 is 2054 days. Greek, bear guilt of a crime. 3168 minus 2054 is 1114. Lunation is 2953. You see, I'm very thorough at this sort of thing. And I've got 13,000 drawings similar to this. So it's slam dunk. This appeared on the front page of the Parksville Times on March the 2nd, 1995, in Port Alberni, where I was living at the time. The sunrise to sunset was 666 minutes. It says me on the right. It was taken by Ashley when we was in Hurghada, Egypt, and shows the same facial structure and lips, and the nose is a bit belted in on the left, and the scarring and eyebrows, all that sort of thing. Same. That's what I was as a child. Isaiah 11:1, it totals, if you take every seventh letter in the Isaiah 11:1, it totals 888. If you do the same thing on the conception date, which is Isaiah 9:6, and you do the same thing, every seventh letter will total 888. Coming in the clouds of confusion. So now it's waiting time. It's time to get the Holocaust bullshit and get rid of it. It's a lie. It's called shower business. And it's just a matter of waking up. In order to get law and order, you don't need these expensive lawyers, you need sodium pentothal. Okay? You've got to stop these planes dropping chemtrails everywhere. Just fly a couple of Russian jets with rockets and shoot the bastards down. So the Jews use the honeypot of either women or girls or children or homosexuals, and then everyone that's in Parliament, with the exception of a few, don't have any skeletons in the closet, and therefore they can't be blackmailed. They can't be threatened with death, however. So, what is the reaction of the farmers going to be when they realise that I've been here for 74 years and there is 22% of Australia's water? Well, there are very few locations where there's no water, so you just put a pipeline across. Or use tankers to transport it, give someone a job. You sit on the largest supply of oil at cubic feet. It's more than all of the oil in the world. So all farms and trucking and so forth and businesses should be running on oil and at no cost. It's cheap as water. I've thought about how you could do this. You just take one of the large Air Force planes and carry a 100-metre long spear. You drop it from a plane at 30,000 feet. You load it with explosive, aim straight down. It will pierce through the water table at the most 500 metres deep. And a lot of it is much lower than that. And then when it hits the ground, it's time to detonate. And you'll have a hole where the water will just gush up through it under natural pressure, and it's boiling hot. Now, all banks are out of business, all farms no longer do they owe any debt, and you support them because that's the backbone of your country. You get rid of all of the military and sack them right down to the captains, and then start again. Get rid of your generals. They all know about it. Get rid of them. Remember how Charles II took back the throne off his beheaded father, and then he rounded them all up and beheaded the ones that found him guilty. He wrote a lovely letter just before he was beheaded the next day, saying he's going to be with Christ. Charles I today is my nephew, Stephen.